Hey everybody, welcome back to another Nature's Always Right episode, this time coming to you from Tennessee and our new home. If you didn't see the most recent episode I made, it's all about kind of the journey of getting to this homestead, some of the backstory, and I put a ton of effort into that one. I spent over 3 days filming and editing that for you guys, so I hope you really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making it and just stepping up my game, always trying to get better at making videos. You know, it's so fun to see. If you go look at some of my original videos, those were all filmed on a Samsung 6 cell phone. So coming from that to now being able to make the videos that I make now, it's just it's really humbling seeing just when you put in some effort and study and learn, well, you know, where it can take you. So today's video is going to be a little more informal than that one, showing you guys a lot more of the details of the property. And we'll just walk through the whole thing together and just do a little tour. So let's get started. So right here, this is the front yard actually. And our front door faces this little area, and that's a little piece of our house. You know, I decided I don't wanna tell exactly where our house is or the exact city or any of that, just because I wanna try to maintain my privacy. And you know, this is our homestead, so I wanna make sure it's a secure, safe place, even though I'm sure that it would be even if I said where I live. But for now, I'm just gonna say that I live in Tennessee. So back here, this is gonna be the site of our main garden area for our homestead, and we'll also be doing some layer chickens back here. And as you can see, you know, we've been chopping down trees and we're getting close to being finished. And I've got a really great tree guy that gave us an amazing deal on cutting down these trees for us, saving us a lot of money. But it's been a little bit slow going. So his bucket actually broke recently. So for the last 2 weeks, we haven't had any trees cut down, but that gave me plenty of time to clear out the land. And as you can see, you know, there's just a couple huge stumps left that I had some troubles moving. So that's what we're working on. Once those stumps are gone, then the plan is to clear out this whole area. I'm gonna get rid of the grass with the tarps that I have and just tarp it for a month, and that should take care of a lot of the grass. Then I'm gonna come back in and we're gonna make this a really nice garden area. We will be doing a mix of raised beds, probably wood-based raised beds, and in-ground beds as well. So we're doing a bit of a mix, and you know, this is not gonna be a for-profit area, maybe a little bit, but more than anything, we just wanna make it a really nice, really usable garden area where we can grow a lot of our own vegetables and other food. I'd love to do some, you know, berries and grapes, all that sort of fun stuff. Maybe a little mini orchard back here so we can get a little bit of fruit going. And of course, getting some layer chickens back here. And I want to make, and we're gonna be doing sort of a mobile coop back here as well as a stationary coop. So doing kind of a combination so that if we wanna move the chickens around out here, we can. If we want them to prep a certain area, or like I said, I'll be doing in-ground beds. So let's say, you know, a crop goes out, I can run chickens through that and they can help me get rid of stuff, eat bugs and all that good stuff, and I can replant it right away. These aren't commercial beds, so there's no, you know, legalities or anything. I'm not worried about contamination from chickens and things like that. So I can do things, more creative things that I couldn't do before because I was doing for-profit market garden. Now back here, it's pretty cool. There's a little shed, and there's a couple buildings that were left for us on the property that are really great. So this is my little mower that I bought, and here's all the wood I've been processing. So I've got a ton of wood. This is gonna be all firewood right here, but this is just a nice little storage area. And here's a frost-free faucet, and this is actually connected to our well, which I'll show you guys. So part of the property is on well, which is really cool. And I forgot to mention, but this entire property is a total of 16 acres. So we own all the woods back here, going back, I'm not even sure, 300 feet or so, maybe a little bit farther. And there's different wild grapes, there's wild berries that you can see, some of them right there. I actually got to try some of the wild grapes recently. They ripened, and they're muscadine, I believe. So the forest I'm really excited about because I'll be able to do forest management, getting this forest into a healthier position. There's a lot of damaged trees, and I'll show you guys all the trees that we cut down. They all have pest issues. So there's either beetles in them, or they had blight, things like that. Actually, that tree was good. Look at the hole that's in this tree. Tons of beetles and things like that. So this forest needs to be made healthier, and running animals through it is a way to really help with that. So my goal is to get some pigs here in maybe spring or something. I'm trying to get the major infrastructure done right now over fall and winter. So getting the chicken coop built, getting worm castings going, getting other nutrient systems like Jadam and KNF going here. And I'm pretty excited about the ability, because I have this forest now, I'll be able to create amazing IMO, indigenous microorganisms. I'll get great collections out here. You can see that the soil out here is just covered in leaves, so there's really good leaf mold soil. And I can inoculate things with this. I'm gonna make a little episode about it, but I brought some of my grow bags from the Lemon Grove property, and we actually planted some things there. And what I did is I mixed some of this in, and all this is rabbit manure from my neighbor. She raises and breeds rabbits, and she's got about 50 over there. So she's constantly getting manure, and she's gonna give it all to me for free. So it's an incredible blessing to have that. So what I did with these grow bags, I mixed in that rabbit and manure and hay, and then I mixed in some of that leaf mold soil for all the microorganisms. Mixed all that up with some just bagged soil, the Kellogg soil. That's the best stuff that I could get around here bagged. I did find a pretty good deal on some mushroom compost. That doesn't have a lot of nutrients in there, but it's really great organic matter. So I'll be getting a shipment of that in. But so I mixed all that up, and then that's at the bottom, like half of the bag. And then the top, I finished it out with just some of the Kellogg's potting soil. So we got cabbage and broccoli that we planted. So I'll do a episode on that in the future, and some of the other just really small scale garden stuff, because I still want to make content for non-homesteaders. Even people in an apartment or a small backyard can do grow bags or vertical garden tower setups. So I'll be showing a little bit of that sort of stuff as well. A lot of my content now, at least for the next year, it's going to be a lot of homesteading content. Gardening and homesteading content is a lot of what it's going to be. It'll cover some of the stuff that I'll be doing out in that field, but that's pretty far in the future. I need to do a lot of planning, and I've got a lot of work to do just for the homestead first. That's what I'm going to be focusing my content on, and that's because that's what I'm doing, right? All this here, these are all logs that I saved, that I cut up to certain sizes. So these will be good for mushroom logs. We're gonna be doing our own mushrooms. And I'm gonna actually be doing, with the raised beds, I wanna do sort of a kind of a hugelkultur setup where we'll be able to have taller raised beds, but we don't have to waste as much money on the soil cost. And we'll be able to bury some logs under there and then put soil on top. So I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna be doing that, and some different soil inoculants I'll use to help break down those logs. So right now they're just sitting there getting wet and hopefully starting to rot a little bit to start off that process. Bunch more wood, ton more wood I collected. And this little building, this is the well house. The entire home is on well, and that's like the reservoir tank, and the well is down inside of here. So this little area still needs some work, but it runs very nicely. And the well water is great. I love having well water. It's so cool not being attached to the city. We are on city power though. Oh, so now, let me take you, we'll go inside my house and I'll just show you guys a little bit, because I know people want to see, people are asking, so I'll show you a little bit. But like I said, we're pretty private people, so don't like to show too much stuff, but I also I know how it is. I want to see what people's places look like too, so I'll show you a little bit. We always take our shoes off. So we got our dining table and just kitchen. So pretty simple. Got a Berkey water filter. This thing has been great. I love having this and knowing that, you know, if our well pump doesn't work, or I can collect some rainwater, run it through this, and be able to drink it. You know, we got some different rooms. Laundry room, of course. So this is where I'm doing my video editing. My wife works, and we're still setting this area up too, but yep, this is where I make all my videos. So I'll be spending a lot of time up here. And then I'll show you one more really important room for me, and that's the garage. So some of our stuff is still everywhere, but it takes a long time to move into a house, doesn't it? So in here, you know, this is where I can work on different projects. I just set up a peg control or a wall control board here. Get all my tools out there, so that's been really great. And we moved from a 250 square foot apartment to this big house, and you know, we've been having to get everything. We didn't really own hardly anything. So, you know, most of the stuff we brought here was all my farming stuff. That's like most of our possessions now. So it's been fun, you know, trying to figure out what we like and what we want for our house, and the whole process has been really interesting. So now let's go down to the barn and the lower field, and I'll show you some more of that and talk about the plans for that as well. Okay, so now we're walking away from the garage and going down the trail here. And this is what leads us down to the barn. And this was a really cool find. This right here, this is an elderberry bush. It's really big. And if you follow me on Instagram at Nature's Always Right, I showed how I harvested them and I made them into elderberry syrup for the first time. That was a really cool experience. And I'm almost done drinking it all, actually. I've been putting it in yogurt, oatmeal, tea, anything that I want to sweeten up a little bit. It's fantastic. So I'll definitely be doing a lot more with elderberry, and I want to incorporate elderberry into my future farm as well. That is a great value-added product. This area I'm very excited about, and I've already had quite a lot of fun, is there's like a little shooting range area. So down here, I'm in the middle of, there was 2 big trees here, so we chopped those down, and I'm in the middle of clearing it all out, and then this is just like a big burn pile. I was trying to keep from getting too wet, but it's just like a bunch of wood chips and stuff that the previous owners left here. I don't know what's in that pile, and they were, you know, they were shooting guns here, obviously, so this isn't an area that I want to grow food or make soil. So it's perfect. I wanted to have a shooting range anyways, so this is just a great spot. And, you know, it's got a hill going right up against here, and there's no homes anywhere behind this, so it's a great safe spot to shoot. We just got some rain, so I'm probably gonna burn that tomorrow and might make a fun little episode about some of the things I've been doing down here. And now we're getting close to the barn. All right, so now we made it to the barn here, and as you can see, here you go. This is the rabbit manure that my neighbor gave me. And actually it was really cool. The other day, my neighbor had to dispatch a few of her rabbits. So I actually got to do that with her, and she taught me how to skin the rabbit and just butcher the whole animal so that you can eat it. So I've actually got some rabbit in my fridge right now, and probably gonna try to cook it tomorrow. I've never cooked rabbit before, but really excited to get into my own meat production. I don't know if I'm gonna raise rabbits for meat, but I wanna raise chickens and pigs and hopefully some cows in the future. So it was a great first experience for me. I've never butchered an animal before, so it was it was an intense experience for sure. It was not comfortable, but it's just something I think that you get used to. And you know, after the second one, it really wasn't as gross as the first one. But as a meat eater, I think it is really important to have that experience at some point, so you know what all is involved in growing that meat, slaughtering the meat, obviously cooking the meat. So you've gone through that entire process. I don't know, it just made me feel a lot more connected with my food, that's for sure. So, you know, I'll definitely do content on that sort of thing in the future, because, you know, if you can eat pasture raised or naturally raised meat, I mean, that's super healthy. If you're eating meat from a CAFO or a country animal feeding operation, they're just being fed GMOs and in the case of cows, a diet of grains, which they're not even supposed to be eating. They're supposed to be eating grass. You're eating toxic food. And one of the things, I really want to talk about in my new content is just how important raising your own food is and how important that's going to be to the future. And that's what I'm going to be showing you a lot more of on my channel. That's my passion, right? So I'm excited to try to help more people get on the land, out of the system, stop being reliant on either government or grocery stores or banks or any of these institutions. The number one thing you can do for your liberty and your sovereignty is getting on the land and taking full responsibility for all aspects of your life and providing these services for yourself and your community. It's going to take not just you and your family by yourself. You're going to want either other family members or friends or community members. You're going to want to work together to provide everything that you're going to need, or at least a majority of it. So that's just my small rant or advice to people right now in very uncertain times. Anyways, back to the barn. So here's the manure I get from my neighbor. And I've been putting it in one of the pens right here. And the neighbor's chickens actually have been coming in here and digging through it for me, mixing it up. And got 2 other animal pens I can use in the future for animals, or my other big thing I wanted to do in here was my natural farming stuff with Jadam, and I could put 55-gallon ferment tanks back here. I could do IMO 3 and 4 piles back here and have it be really easy to control because it's out of the rain and the direct sunlight and all that good stuff. So, and besides that, right now I've been using it a lot for storage. So I've got my Bootstrap Farmer greenhouse that I brought, all my hoops for beds, all my fabrics and, tarps. I kept as much of the stuff as I could. A ton of drip tape that I brought. And inside of this room is just more storage area. It's it's got a concrete pad on it and the whole deal, so I can do some good stuff in there as well. So it's really nice having this barn. And now coming out to the field, this is the area of the future farm that I want to build, and also where I can raise a lot of animals. Right now, as you can see, there's a lot of grass here. This is mostly fescue, and I'll probably have my neighbor come back in and hay this again, but I don't have enough time to get the animals going and get things started back here right now. I want to get my homestead set up first, so that's going to be the focus. And as you can see, right up here is a hill. There's a big slope, and it slopes all the way down here, and you can even see my neighbor's willow tree right there. So if you see a willow tree, that means that there's a lot of moisture there. So all the rain comes down off these slopes to the center, and you may even be able to see in the center here, that is where a ton of water runs, and you can see some different growth there that's different than the fescue. That's because it's so wet there. So I've had a lot of different ideas with what I could do there. I've thought about doing a series of ponds. I definitely would like to do some ponds and water catchment, planting on contour with swales and all that good stuff on the slope over there, and creating a more full ecosystem here that will provide homes for a lot of different animals and insects and allow me to do some different types of crops as well. And I don't know, another idea I had was for this where the water's going to run through, because I can't put beds there, right? So maybe I'm doing like a dry creek bed and planting currants or something along it that they really like moist soil, so things that can handle wet feet. So yeah, just playing around with a lot of different ideas and doing a lot of planning over this winter, doing some different surveys using my drone and Google Earth and things like that to start mapping things out and You know, I really like to plan things over a long period of time and draw it over and over and over again. So I'll be sure to try to share some of those plans and the drawings that I do, things like that, that help me kind of think about this and conceptualize it. Because whenever I design something, I always have to redo it, you know, a million times before I finally get that the right design. There is no power to this barn. That water faucet is actually on city water that's connected to my neighbors. This whole property with my neighbors over there who have the horses, this all used to be one property that was owned by one family. They split it, and now it is 2 different lots, and we own one of them, they own the other. So here's the entrance to the field going out. You know, I would like to show you guys over there, because that's kind of another interesting spot. But it's the grass is so tall, I don't want to get chiggers or a tick or, you know, some other nasty bug biting me, so I'm not going to walk through that for you. But over here, that area is actually really flat on top of there. The soil is horrible. It's basically, practically, it's just bedrock, or, you know, just rock and just bad soil. But if I build on top of that, it's actually pretty flat. This is like a, you know, maybe a ½ acre. And that would be a great spot for a little market garden or a bunch of greenhouses or tunnels. And this is, since it's elevated, moisture won't be such an issue over there. But I think just all the topsoil is eroded over time, and that's why the soil's so bad. But we can get in there and rejuvenate it. So just really excited for the future, all the different fun experiments, all the work I'm gonna get to do. And excited to share it all with you and this whole journey that I'm about to go through.